Today we're going to be talking about how to buy your first rental property. Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Solange. I am a realtor here at Keller in the city of Minneapolis in Minnesota. I am a real estate investor, an entrepreneur, and also an award-winning agent. Today we're going to be talking about how to buy your first rental properties. I have prepared a couple steps on what to do and tips on how to go about the process. Please feel free to leave comments below. Subscribe to my channel if you're here for the first time. Smash the like button if you benefited anything from this video, and share massively so someone else can benefit with you. So first thing first, becoming a landlord, your number one point is you have to be able to decide whether you fit in the space to be called a landlord. You would have to look into yourself and assess some of the duties of landlords and see if this is something that you are ready to do. I have made provisions of some of the things that you would be facing as a landlord day to day when you first buy your first rental property. Earning a rental property income, it's so sweet, but also have lots of hassle and downside. There are three following steps that you would need to consider if you enjoy doing these things in order to become a landlord. The very first thing is you have to choose where you want your rental property to be, and that is done with a lot of shopping around, and you want to decide to look for a place where people are actually moving into a place with growth in population, growth in development, growth in employment, and instead of a place where people are moving out from. And so you would have to do a lot of research. You would need someone that knows the market at your side to be able to help out with something like that. The second thing you would have to do, you would have to consider becoming a landlord, would be whether or not you enjoy screening tenants. You would have to screen tenants, do background checks on them, also do references on their job, just to make sure that you're bringing tenants that have the income to be able to pay you on a monthly basis. You would also need to work as to clean these properties and get them ready for the next tenant from time to time as your tenant comes and go, and as per the agreement that you have with your tenants on their leases. So that is going to be all the things to consider. Not to forget one of the most important thing, which is maintenance of these properties. Are you someone that enjoy fixing leaky toilets, as they say? Landlords usually get calls in the middle of the night as to, hey, my toilet is blocked or my furnace is off. We are in cold and stuff like that. You want to be able to know if you're someone that can handle those things as you decide towards making your first rental property purchase. It is said that you're not going to be the one to be doing these repairs, but hey, guess what? Some landlords actually go out and do their repairs, and the cost would always come to you as long as you're the one managing this property. And keep in mind that you're starting out as a new investor, and so you have very limited cash, a cash gap, or what we call cash flow on these properties, and you are yet to be able to hire a property management company. So at a start point, you want to do everything by yourself. Plus, nobody takes care of your property the way you can do. So you want to do these things by yourself, get used to them. And as you grow and expand, you can now think of hiring a property management company. Point number 2 would be clearing off all personal debts. As you plan on buying your rental property, the first rental property, you would have to clear student loan, car loans, medical bills. If you think of putting kids through college, you might want to be more cautious, as all these things demand cash, and you don't want to put yourself in a position where you would not have enough cash to be able to shoulder some of the responsibilities that you already have. You have to think and process all of this cautiously. But once you eliminate debts that you already have, such as school loans, medical bills, and other, it gives you an opening to be able to qualify for finance on your first rental property. Our number three tip would be saving for your down payment. As you all know, buying a residential property, you can put as little as 3% down. It is a completely different rule with buying a rental property. With rental property, the minimum you can put down is about 20%. Some lenders even go as far as 25%. This is because the rental property does not have what is called a private mortgage insurance, the private lender insurance or private mortgage insurance that the residential property, or what we call owners occupied property, do have. So you have to put upfront more money to be able to purchase a rental property, usually 20%. So if you're buying, say, a property worth $100,000, you would need $20,000 down payment, plus your closing costs. Maybe your closing costs could be about another 3% of that amount, looking at about $26,000. So you have to derive strategies on how to start saving money to be able to make up for your down payments. Tip number 4 is going to be shopping on the right location. Location, 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 they say when they talk real estate. So you want a place with parks, neighborhood that are friendly, low crime rates, right? This are some of the things that everyone is looking for. Good school district, and that is where you want to be as a landlord as you think towards your journey of becoming a landlord and buying your first rental property. All of the above mentioned points bring forth a growing job market and a larger pool of potential renters. So keep that in mind. Point number 5, how to calculate your operating expense on a rental property. And now you have your property and you have a tenant, and it's about time to calculate whether or not you're making profit, what your expenses are, and what's your cash flow. The first thing to keep in mind is that generally operating expense runs somewhere between 35 to 80% of the gross operating income. So the lower your operating expense, the higher your income, or the higher your cash flow on the property. There is something known as the 2% rule. You want to get more knowledge on what that means, as it would help you very much in the beginning stage as an investor. I would throw a simple explanation, an example as to the 2% rule for all of you that are beginners in the rental industry. This is going to help you as you analyze some of the deals you will get. Example number 1 on the 2% rule. If I buy a property worth $100,000 and I rent it out for $2,000, then that property fits the 2% rule. So when analyzing your properties, you want to make sure that you're taking into consideration how much you're paying for the property, what the rent around that area that you're buying are. You want to take into consideration from your appraiser how much those properties are renting specifically. And so you do the math to make sure that you are actually meeting up with the 2% rule. It is a very simple thing to do with beginners, investors. When you calculate your rental property that you're buying from the 2% rule perspective, it gives you a perfect idea whether or not that deal is a good deal. There is also another rule known as the 50% rule. On the 50% rule, everything that I spend on my property on a monthly basis, so my net operating expense and my net operating income, it's splitted into 50-50. Say I get expense worth 1,000 and I get income worth 2,000. And so my net expense is 1,000 and my net income is 2,000. So this is the 50-50 rule. I'm left with about 1,000 worth of cash flow. So that is another way you can analyze rental properties. We're going to move to the sixth point, which is going to be talking about the ROI in rental properties. ROI is known as the return on investment. With stocks, we have return on investments coming back on cash deals at about 7.5%, and bonds are paying out about 4.5% on return on investment. So in your first deal as a real estate investor, if you get a 6% return on investment, it is generally stated to be a good start. Okay, so do not beat yourself about that, as this property will grow in value, and so your return. Your return will equally grow as the time goes by and rent increases and property grows up in value. So a 6% for a start is considered very, 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 very good. Our last and final step, which is going to be step number 7, would be know your obligations. As a landlord, you need to know your obligations, right? You need to know your obligations as a landlord. Familiarize yourself, do more research on fair housing, tenant eviction rules, tenant security deposit, as well as what is required to be in a lease agreement that you put together for your tenant. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed the output, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a comment below, subscribe, smash the like button, and also make sure to share the video so that someone else could benefit. Until then, I'll see you in my next video.